Hello and welcome to what's new in Microsoft 365 and Teams for the 11th to the 30th of September. So a bit of a long one this time between having a few family commitments and being really quite poorly. We've got a longer spell than usual, but it's been fairly quiet, so maybe not too much catching up to do. We've got a new format to try with you this week. So look on the screen here. So we're going to look at a topic at a time. So you can see the main topics there, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, and then we've got a bundle at the end across 365. And what we're going to look at on each one is what's available now, what's being delayed, bite-sized stuff, so just a quick update, and ones to watch. So looking a little bit further out in the future. So instead of you having to watch all of it, if you're just into Teams, for example, you can just skip to the Teams part. If you go to the notes, skip to Teams, and you'll get all that information rather than me talking about everything that's late, everything that's a bite size, everything that's one to watch. So let's just see whether this new format works out. So let's start off with OneDrive. So we've got a bite size one here. This is the new utility coming to OneDrive and actually to SharePoint images. You see this example here, we're just cropping it, but also you can get the ability to rotate it, but also some really nice functionality for changing the color and the saturation, all that sort of stuff. So look out for that late September to late October in OneDrive and in SharePoint. And you're going to get an easier experience when you are moving or copying. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that nearer the time. Okay, straight into our first full update for OneDrive. Now, this is a new command bar, so this will be of interest to anybody who finds the command bar a little bit busy. So before we get into all the bullet points, just see up here that we've got the original one, and just below it we've got the new one. Can you see how much cleaner that is? It just looks a lot nicer. And the same on the right hand side over here. You can see that we've got the it's a bit clunky that for some reason it's got like the previous and next, and actually most of us know what a left arrow and a right arrow does in that sort of context. So that looks a little bit nicer. So that's coming to OneDrive and SharePoint Web Viewer. So it just makes it a little bit easier to identify the right files, and you can access the primary commands nice and easily. So that is due late September to early October for most of us. Okay, so we're now on to SharePoint, and our first bite-sized one is a new SharePoint hub-to-hub associations. So that's really for the SharePoint site owners. If that's of interest to you, have a look over at the site. I've got a lot more detail for that. Looking a little bit further out, actually, I don't have a lot of detail about this, even though this is only coming in October. I don't have a lot of information for you yet, but I will follow up, of course. But this is one to watch. You can see if that icon there, it just shows you it's one to watch. This is private draft. So at the moment, you have everybody can see, for example, most people can see a SharePoint page that's been shared. The authors can see the drafts, but maybe you don't want anyone else to see your draft. So you got a private draft just for you um, while you're editing a page. Okay, so into our first main update for SharePoint. This is a navigation switcher. So this is for people who want a bit more control over how their pages look. So the team site owners can choose vertical, horizontal, and off. You can see those options there. And then over on the right hand side there, you can see once you're on the page, the options that you have. So you can go to the settings, change the look, and the navigation. Look out for that bit of extra control early to late November. Okay, let's see what Teams has got for us. And our first delayed one, so you can see a clock there, the little snooze. It's the best I could do. So this is the breakout room presenter support. So this is really popular. So I've told a lot of people about this, and people get a little bit put off by the overhead of breakout rooms, because you know that the owner has to do all the organizing, and unless you go in early, then set them up and come back out, and then go back into them during the call, you generally have to start your call, get this all set up, do it all, and all that management is on top of is on the organizer. So the fact that you can have the presenter support, you can allocate people to be room managers to help you out. That's going to be awesome, but it's been pushed back a little bit. Pretty much what I was just saying about having to do everything at the same time, that's getting fixed from a setting the rooms up point of view too. So if you look here, folks, you can see that this person in advance is setting up their rooms and assigning people to the rooms in advance. So I think those two things there, whether you are an organizer of meetings or you just attend a lot of meetings, Either way, you're going to see a lot more of breakout rooms because they've just become a lot easier to manage. Also, that meeting auto recording expiration. So this is just the auto deletion of meeting recordings. So by default, it'll be 60 days, but your organization could push that out to, I think it's 99,999 days, or they can make it a lot shorter, or just not opt in for that at all. But look out for that, folks. I think that is going to be it's going to be a useful tool to make sure that we save information on purpose rather than just out of habit. But look out for that in November. Sorry. Okay, so end-to-end encryption for Teams callings. Now, when we were talking about this at a major client, they were a bit concerned about talking about encryption and the users not thinking that the environment was secure. So just the way I would just describe this, let's say you've got a safe house that's a very secure environment. This is your tenant, it's your 365 setup, and your Teams calls and everything else. But maybe inside this safe house, you need like a physical safe, like a super safe room, so that no one else in the house can interact with that. That's how I describe the encrypted calls. So even the system can't do its normal, doing the transcript, so the system can't access your calls either. All that helpful stuff that you would have in a regular call. So look out for that, folks. It looks really nice, but it's been pushed back to November. These voice recordings for those one-to-one calls, those voice over IP, and those regular normal type calls, those PSTN ones, that the ability to record and the transcriptions, that's been pushed back a little bit to somewhere between any time now and the end of the month. A bite-sized one, so the ability to restart a Teams live event. So I saw this surface quite some time ago, and it seems to have come back again. The ability to restart a live event that's either crashed or you've stopped it by accident, that is coming back sometime this month too. Let's look a little bit further out. So now we're looking at the ability to hide your own video feed in Teams. Now, I like this because even though I like Teams, like the video feeds, I actually, if I'm presenting, I always turn off the video feed anyway for all of the feeds coming in. But it might just be that you just don't like your own feed, or you don't need to see it. So you're going to get the ability to turn that off in November. But also, if you want to, the ability to pin your own video feed. Not su- I just you hear me just thinking while I'm reading that out why you'd want to do that. Maybe you're presenting and you want to just keep half an eye on how you look. I'm not sure, but both of those are coming soon. Okay, so on to our first full update. So if you are a Teams Room user, it might be that you feel a little bit left out because some of the features lag behind or the experience really is quite different. So they're going to bring the Teams Rooms experience in line a bit more with the regular Teams meeting. So it'll still be different, but you're going to get some of the regular Teams meeting features coming in. So participant grouping, sorting by raised hand, the user search, the chat bubbles, the live reactions, all the stuff that you're used to. So you're going to see that the Teams room is going to come into line a little bit, and that is due anytime now, between now and the next couple of weeks. So between now and mid-October. Okay, so this is a big one. This is live now, or it certainly is in the environments that I'm in. You know what it's like, folks. You're in a big chat meeting, somebody says something, and then you want to respond to that, but a few other people have made their comments in between. It can sometimes be a little bit tricky to talk to make it clear what you're referring to. So Microsoft have finally given us this ability to, and if we just have a quick look at the image on the right hand side here, we are clicking the ellipsis next to a message, and then we're clicking reply, and we type our message and send it. So that running again, and it just means that it makes it really clear what you are talking about. So you can see it's accessed via the message actions menu. You might already be used to this on mobile, but it's live now, folks. Go and check that out. It makes it just a little bit clearer what you're referring to when you are chatting. Okay, so if you are one of those people who like to show a whiteboard in your meetings, or you like to refer to documents, maybe you're doing some proofreading of a document with your colleagues, this functionality is going to be awesome. This is the content from camera in Teams meetings. So Look at the screen here. You can see here that the uh, the the person in this meeting, they've said they want to share the content from the whiteboard, and the camera, they're pointing the camera at the whiteboard. It's picked it up, it's pulled it into zoom, it's straightened it out. Now, when she puts her hand over it, it kind of ghosts her hand. That technology, that AI that they've had for a little while. It looks really nice. So, but you could also plug in a webcam, either mount it somehow over a document, and you could share that way as well. Now that's due over the next couple of weeks as well. Okay, so in this new format, we have this section at the end called Across Microsoft 365, and this is a catch-all. This is just a catch-all. The other updates and delays and whatever else that we haven't covered off. So first of all, we've got a delayed. You can see it's got the little clock there, the Z's on it. The feature for Yammer. Those nested replies and related features, that's been pushed back though. Those nested replies that they, so you can see a thread, they're going to be awesome. And I wish that I was working somewhere where we regularly used Yammer. I really enjoyed it. I know it gets a bad rap from a lot of people, but used properly, it's a really good tool. But anyway, folks, if you are a Yammer person, look out for that. It could be as late as the end of the year. Another Yammer one, that restricting Yammer community postings. So it just means that the owner is going to get a bit more control over what can and can't be posted in there. And that is due over the next, say, 3 or 4 weeks by the looks of it. To do now, if you are a to-do user and you use the apps on your phone or your device, then you need to update it. So get that updated by the end of the month if you want to get the latest features and you want it to not stop working. Microsoft Stream, the ability to add captions and transcripts for a video in SharePoint or OneDrive that you've uploaded. So look out for that, folks. You know that we had this ability in the past, but the new version of Stream is just kind of catching up. This one's way out. This is February next year, but just so you know that that is coming, if you find that as a bit of a frustration. And the viewer retention analytics. So this looks quite good. So I've not really done this one justice by giving it this 1 line, but as it becomes more details come through, I will definitely share it. It shows you where people are watching up to in a video, where they dropped out, what they watched. That I think is going to be quite nice if you want some really detailed analytics about your videos in your organization. But like I say, folks, it's due this month, so I'm surprised I don't have more info, but I will definitely get some for you for next time. Microsoft Viva. Praise history, so it just means that you're going to be able to look at the praise history that you've received in your insights. Your quiet time settings coming to Teams and Outlook. Look out for that in November. If you are interested in Viva, check out the link to the blog where I've shared a bit more information about this. Another one to watch is commenting on your video files and being able to tag somebody. So you saw that tagging. I think I talked about um, improved tagging coming to project last month or last week, didn't I? So you can see it seems to be whatever they use for tagging, they seem to have worked on that behind the scenes, and it applies to a few different apps. And there's some new features coming to Visio. Just there's too much effort to go into right now, but look out in the blog, folks. And when more information about this comes to light, I'll make sure I share that on the blog and Twitter and all the other ways that I do as well. Okay, folks, so even though we had quite a long period there, that was quite a short catch up. So what are we now, 14 minutes or so? It does seem that Microsoft have been a little bit quieter, and I wonder whether that's just because of the summer. Maybe things will start ramping up. We've got some events coming up. Maybe it'll start ramping up and we'll have a little bit more content. But for now, folks, make sure that you keep up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. Subscribe to the podcast. Maybe subscribe to the newsletter over on the blog. If you're watching on the video on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It makes a big difference to surfacing and sharing it. But for now, folks, we are done. I hope to see you next week. Cheers, bye.